Well, it's not just the national anthem anymore. Now liberals declaring war on the Pledge of Allegiance. In the Washington Post, Bates College professor Christopher Petrilla claims that, quote, while the language contained in the pledge is not overtly nativist or xenophobic, the spirit that animated its creation was steeped in bigotry. He goes on to argue that its origins are in nativism and white nationalism. Here now to discuss is former professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University, Carol Swain. Professor, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So we've seen assaults, whether it's the national anthem, the flag, now it is the Pledge of Allegiance said in so many of our schools. On what basis is he making this claim that it's racist or xenophobic?
Well, I see it as part of an overall plan to destroy the symbols of our national identity, and ultimately it destabilizes the country and it strengthens the hands of our international enemies. I don't see any good that can come from constantly attacking our monuments and those things that make us, who we are, those symbols of our national identity. Those are important, not just for us, but also for newcomers that come to this nation to join us.
Professor, you say that the use of grievances of racial and ethnic minorities is a classic tactic of the left, but not even just the left, of communists, that this movement is steeped in using racial identity.
Yes, and if you go back to Cleon Skousen, he published a book in the late 1950s called The Naked Communists. There were 45, at that time, he called them current communist goals. They were read into the congressional record in 1963. Most of those have been accomplished, and they included using the grievances of racial and ethnic minorities as a way, to advance the communist goals. Also infiltrating our churches and discrediting the FBI, just so many of the things that have taken place. And so I would encourage anyone that wants to understand what's happening today in America to go to that book and find those 45 then current communist goals, read those, look at our nation, and let that judge whether or not Cleon Skousen was off base or was he on to something.
Interesting book, The Naked Communist, you say. I'm sure some folks will be looking that up for the first time. You say, in addition to the flag and the pledge, that Christianity, that faith is ultimately something they're going after as well.
Yes, and I can remember many decades when, as a African American, I was being told that Christianity was the white man's religion. And many of the people that I know who have abandoned Christianity for Islam, it was the white man's religion. I think that we see attacks on Christianity from the Southern Poverty Law Center, an organization that now targets mainstream organizations, Christian churches. I think that's where they're ultimately going. And if that is the next step, we will all be losers, especially black people in America and those people that, have been steeped in our Judeo-Christian traditions. That's what's really under attack. And anything that makes our nation exceptional, it seems to me that our international enemies, they want to destroy America. They're using our own people to do it from within. That's
such a great point, a poignant one. We're all in this together as Americans. We should be fighting back against ideologies seeking to divide us. Professor Carol Swain, thank you very much for your knowledge this morning.
Thank you.